So it's been a month since I've started the David Bradley Suburban projects, and they are already done. It didn't take nearly as long as I was thinking. They weren't really that complicated once I figured out what was going on. I was really hoping I was going to have more original ones than just this 59, but it is kind of what it is. At least they are, driving. It does suck that, this is the only gas-powered one. It's the only one that has a working VariDrive with reverse system. But I guess these other ones do have reverse. They're just electric. So we have an electric 65 Suburban 10, an electric 1960, which was converted into a 64 725, just because that's what parts I had. The front axle was remade, so was the steering column, because this was just the frame, missing all of the clutch stuff. So it doesn't even have the big clutch pulley that's on the side. It was missing that pulley, so there's no option at all to save the original system because it didn't have it. And then of course a 64 Suburban 600. This is probably the rarest one here, even though the 59 is pretty rare. Just because looking it up, there's only pictures of like 3 or 4 other ones. So, I thought that was pretty cool, so don't have something very common. And then of course, my very favorite one out of the bunch, just because of, I can't stop looking at it. The 59. So this one here, I was hoping to use 8 horsepower Briggs, but the recoil start on it wasn't really working. And I just got this 98cc engine, and I'm just like, I test fitted it on here. I'm like, yeah, it looks good. So I painted the shroud. It's supposed to be gold, for the tractor. So is the seat. But I'm like, that's a lot of gold. So I'm like, I painted it blue. I think I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna leave that be. So I'm going to drive the 59 because I haven't driven that yet and showed you. And then I'm gonna drive the Suburban 600. And then there'll be before and after pictures and some video of these tractors. So this is how you start the 59. So there's no kill switch on this, so you just gotta rev the engine up a little bit. And then sometimes you gotta move this choke lever to start, sometimes not. So I'll just pick some place in the middle. A little bit more throttle. It's not the easiest machine to drive, especially with one hand and a camera in the other, but because you got to move this lever here, you push this forward to go forward. This one here is your speeds, and then this lever here is the reverse, and of course these 2 levers on the side is your left and right brake. So it's a little tricky trying to do the steering wheel and drive it steering wheel and camera at the same time. So here we got Suburban 600 electric. The thing that's actually funny is these electrics have a lot more power than that 3-horse gas, and they're faster. So thought that's actually kind of funny, but you can already see it's much faster. I know I've shown this in the video for it, but there's a decently sized hill right here. I'm gonna show you going up the hill. Does slow down a little bit, but makes it up. This one doesn't have brakes, so you got to use your feet as brakes. For some reason, the 600s don't have brakes. Like these, they all have them little levers. This one has, well, nothing. It doesn't even have a foot pedal for a brake, so you just don't get brakes. So if you're wondering what the range is on these electric ones, well, if you fully charge the battery, which it takes about 8 hours to charge, which is kind of a long time, because the charger that came with this battery is pretty slow. It's a 20 amp hour battery, which I have in this case, with some packaging foam just to kind of hold it in place. And then you can just switch it between tractors. But anyway, so it takes 8 hours to charge it, 20 amp hour, which doesn't sound that big. But if you're just driving these tractors around without really pulling anything, you can get an hour on a charge. That's of course stopping and starting, driving around a lawn, various up and down hills, you know, miscellaneous kind of terrain. You can get about an hour. Of course, if you put a hitch on one of these and pull a wagon, that's going to go down. And then I wouldn't pull a plow with it. I know it wouldn't handle that just because of the amount of force it takes to pull a plow. But like a disc, a drag, a dozer blade, anything like that would be fine. The only thing I'd have to say would be out would be the one bottom plow. And of course a mower deck, because what do you run a mower deck or even a snowblower off of, because there's no PTO. But I mean, good enough for what it is. It'll probably never pull anything because they're restored, so I mean there's no reason to. But that is going to be it for this video. There'll be some pictures before and after of all these tractors, and thanks for watching.